So let's look at some of the properties of a circle. So if we start off with a single point on the page, we can imagine taking this point and we can imagine going out a fixed distance, say 5 centimeters. Now if you picture that, that would be a line that is drawn out from here out 5 centimeters. So if you picture that line, and now picture taking our ruler and rotating our ruler around so that the 0 point stays on that point, but we rotate all the way around. What's that shape going to look like? Well, if I pull my ruler away and I take my compass, which has been open to 5 centimeters, and I now put it on this middle point, and I rotate my point all the way around, you can see that I create a circle. That circle is defined by the distance from the center out to the edge, and that is called the radius of the circle. So a circle can be defined as all the points that are the same distance from a center point, or the radius. So the radius defines a circle. We also have another line within a circle which runs from one side through the center to the other side of the circle, and we call that distance the diameter. Now, the diameter, if we look at that, that's made up of a distance from here to the edge, which is one radius, and from here to the edge, which is a second radius. So in other words, the diameter is equal to twice the radius. Likewise, we could say the radius is equal to half the diameter. So we can define a circle by the distance from the center to the outside, and if we know the diameter, we can find the radius. Now, within a circle, we have another line that runs, which is all the way around. So this is a curve, and the question is, how far is it around that curve? We call that curve, or the perimeter of the circle, we call it the circumference. Now, some of you will remember in class, we started to look at the circumference of a circle. And when we looked at the circumference of a circle, we picked a bunch of items, and we measured the circumference and the diameter of those items. We then took the circumference divided by the diameter, and we saw what number we got. So we got 2.86, 3.73, and so on. The trend we noticed was that all of these numbers tended to be really close to 3. So if we scrolled all the way down and had a look at all of those numbers, you can see they're all close to 3. Some of them were a little hard to measure because they were small. We found that the average of all of those numbers in this cell, the average of all of those numbers from E2 to E97 was 3.14. So those numbers tended towards a special number we have in mathematics, which is pi. So when we look at all the numbers within, or all of our measurements, and compare all of those measurements in the circle, we found that pi, or pi as the special mass symbol is equal to the diameter we found that pi is equal to the circumference divided by the diameter. Or we could say that pi is equal to c divided by d. Likewise, we can rearrange this formula and say the circumference is equal to pi times the diameter, or using the idea that the diameter is twice the radius, we could say circumference is equal to 2 pi r. So with any circle, we find that our circumference is equal to 2 pi r. we find that the radius is the distance from the center to the outside. The way all the way around is called the circumference, or the perimeter, and the diameter is twice the radius. I hope this information is helpful. Thank you.